Hey, good morning. It's New York Vinnie here with you on a Saturday morning. It is, of course, Drive Time Radio, this thing we do on Saturday morning where we talk about cars and traffic and everything that has to do with cars. And it's been a busy week in the automotive world locally, here, especially on the West Coast. There's a lot of things are popping off on a Saturday morning. Glad you could join us for a little while. Why don't you call your friends up and tell them to jump on as well? Take a look at what we do here on Saturday morning, which is talk about cars and automotive stuff and traffic and things that have to do with your driving experience. We do it every Saturday morning. We're usually on right at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. Unfortunately, this morning we're running into my whole SteamYard experience here, which is the means that I use to get on the air with you, seems to have just crashed. Just boom. And so we're trying to recover from that and get that back together. And so it looks like we're on the way to doing that. I think we've got enough, at least so if things don't look familiar to you this morning, if things look a little different or strange, or sorry about that, we will try to get that fixed for next week. Remember, I know we'll get it fixed. It's just the idea of getting it together and getting it to the point where it's all back to where it usually is. Even the banner on the bottom here, you can see that thing right there. That's not supposed to be like that, but it is like that this morning. That's where you can find us on YouTube, on our Golden V Media YouTube channel that encompasses Mikey and Vinnie and Drive Time Radio and a few other things that I do. And we try to, entertain you that way as well. How's your week been? I know we're still recovering from, the Mariners and the loss. It's never fun when you lose. At least, though, this team can say that they took a team that just whacked the world champion Dodgers last night and, made them look like an incapable team. It was it's pretty ugly if you were a Dodger fan last night. I feel bad for my friends that are Dodger fans. And that, well, I don't, because if you know what, actually, it's a family thing with me. I can't root for the Dodgers. We've talked about this many times before. That my family was deeply affected when the Dodgers left Brooklyn, and I have pledged to my father that I would never root for the Dodgers. So I won't root for the Dodgers ever, and so that includes even going up against my country. But you know what? I mean, I don't know about you. I want to see the Blue Jays win. I mean, there are expansion cousins, and they're a team that, let's face it, we've been in one way or another tied to and will be forever since coming into the league in 1977. Of course, and we love Canadians. Our government may not love Canadians, but we love Canadians. So here's to the Canadians. A salute, Canadian. I remember one of the things that I went up to Montreal a few years ago. I got, took a vacation up in Montreal, and I had a couple of great Italian grocery stores. Montreal is a happening city. They know how to do ethnicity and all that kind of stuff. They know how to do it. Anyway, I drove up from Pittsburgh to Montreal, which is a trip. because I drove through that, you just drive along the lake, the top side of the lake, and go that way. Coming back, I came down through the States because I used to drive to Montreal a lot when I lived in New York. Montreal was a favorite destination of mine. I remember one time driving up to Montreal on a Friday night in my 64 Corvette. And you want to see the border guys get excited. And at that time, it was guys. Now you go to the border and it's men and women, but that time it was mostly guys. And I remember pulling up to that border, man, in that Corvette, and they had guys coming out of the border building, the barracks there, whatever, looking at the car, and they didn't want to do a customs inspection. They wanted to look at the engine. They wanted to look under the car. They wanted to, they were enamored with the car. And I don't mind showing it to them. I've never minded showing, people my car. And they were digging it. And I was digging it. So it was diggity. It's funny, the person that I took up there with me to Montreal is a friend of mine on Facebook. And we still keep in touch every once in a while. And I hope she's listening this morning. So she will, she'll hopefully have as fond a memory of that trip as I do. But anyway, I used to love going up to Montreal and loved the Canadians. I loved seeing the Expos when they were up there. Although I don't know. I don't know that baseball ever caught on in Montreal like it should have or could have, it was anyway. We won't get into that. Because we talk about, this is not the third week in a row I've opened up the show talking baseball. Maybe I ought to just do an hour on baseball each week after this show. But I'm trying to cut my workload down a little bit as opposed to hipping it up. Anyway, so a lot of things going on around our highways and byways this week. And I want to jump into that a little bit to talk about some of the things that are going on. Just the big story around here locally is that this tractor trailer truck, this big rig, took out an overpass out by Clay Elum. And it's been a really a crazy kind of a time out there. I guess this big rig a few days ago, driving along I-90. It's a oversized load, and they got the pilot car and everything, but that doesn't matter. This guy goes barreling through there and gets to Bullfrog Road, and his truck is too big to get under the overpass, but he doesn't worry about it. He just goes through and rips the overpass in two and destroys the overpass, screws up traffic on I-90. And this is now westbound at exit 80. So it's coming back this way on exit 80 near Clay Elum. They struck the overpass, destroyed the overpass, or at least that half of the overpass. So they have been out now knocking this thing down and, virtually having to cut this overpass in half. They're going to try to save one half of it and rebuild the other half. But this is going to be months and millions of dollars. Because some guy in a big rig wasn't paying attention. Luckily, I guess there wasn't a lot of traffic, and they didn't. They wound up. I guess this guy didn't stop or anything. They had to catch up with them, and I mean, I don't know how you go through an overpass, knock half of it down, leave all this debris in the middle of I-90, and you don't stop. You must be a freaking idiot. Anyway, so now this is going to be on the taxpayers of Washington State to pay millions of dollars to replace this overpass because of driver negligence. Now, I don't know. Evidently, the guy was tested and he wasn't impaired or anything like that. He was just stupid. They had a pilot car and everything like that. The big flashing lights you see, oversized load and everything like that. But it appears that if you're driving a big rig, not just in the state of Washington, but in many places, if you're driving a big rig, you don't have to follow rules. I mean, we've seen it time and time again with these trucks. We see accidents, we see them hit things, we see them block streets, we see all sorts of stuff from these big rigs. Now, listen, the majority of drivers are good. The majority of drivers know what they're doing, it seems. And they will always, the Washington Truckers Association will always use the thing, well, we're a vital part of the economy, and if you can't get stuff out there by truck, the country will go down the tubes. And they're partially right. And that's what gives them kind of this leeway that they tend to get. But I have to tell you, it's starting to get a little out of hand. It's starting to get a little lawless. It's starting to get a little disgusting. When somebody hits an overpass like that and doesn't feel any kind of responsibility for it, when a trucking company, if they have caused damage like this, they just sell the truck to a new company, and then that truck's back out on the road. What does the driver do? What happens to the driver? Well, nothing's going to happen to this driver. You know what the fine is for the damage? You have any idea what the fine is for the damage? $250. That's what the fine is for the damage that this guy caused. $250 is what he will is what he will be charged. Here's a picture of some of the damage. Let me see. I get this thing to. I don't know why they put this music on here. But look at look at the damage. This is on X. Look at the damage that's been caused on this overpass. It's unbelievable. Millions of dollars worth of damage has been caused by this driver out on I-90. Now, the one thing that I like that I saw a politician actually do something that was pretty interesting, and got to give him a lot of credit. uh, King County Councilman Reagan Dunn has, she's the vice chair of the King County Council, sent a letter to the Washington State Department of Transportation urging stronger action. He wants to develop a stupid motorist law that would hold those who drive extremely tall loads on our roads accountable for the damage that they cause. There's been a pretty good response from the governor, Governor Ferguson, and the DOT. I mean, they're moving pretty fast to try to come up with some kind of situation. But it's not the first thing. We had the whole thing on the White River Bridge not too long ago. But again, you have another oversized vehicle that has destroyed a piece of Washington's transportation infrastructure. It just seems that, and Dunn was quoted as saying, I believe the problem is getting worse, not better. The incidents impose heavy costs, not just due to repairs, but also lost time, risk to public safety, disrupted freight movement, and significant economic harms. It's Reagan Dunn, King County Council Vice Chair. And I have to agree with him. I think it's long overdue. And I even like the title, the name of the law, the stupid motorist law, because if you're driving a truck and you can't figure this stuff out, you're just stupid. It's just that simple. If you can't figure out what you're doing, if you have a pilot car and you have all of this stuff going on and all these protections, and yet you still hit the overpass, you're an idiot. And you probably shouldn't have a CDL. You know, a long time ago, somebody I was talking to somebody about collisions and incidents like this. And they said, well, it's an accident. And I said, no, these things aren't accidents. These things are negligence. It is negligence when a guy blows through a traffic light and sideswipes your car, puts you and your car out of commission, God forbid. It is negligence when a truck hits an overpass like that. It's not an accident. There's nothing accidental about that. It is negligence. And is that negligence caused by stupidity? Is that negligence caused by ignorance? Is that negligence caused by mechanical failure? Many of these things could be in play here, but it is unbelievable to me, some of the things that you see trucks get away with, these big rigs get away with. It's unbelievable. And why do they get away with it? Well, number one, they have a good lobbying apparatus in the state of Washington. We're a port city. We depend heavily on trucks moving through Seattle, through King County, north, south, and east, west. We're the first major city in the United States stop on the north-south highway that brings goods from Canada to Mexico and back and forth. When you drive down I-5, especially during the day, you see all the big rigs on I-5. Well, they have a Washington Truckers Association. That Washington Truckers Association doesn't have the interest of you driving your Prius up and down I-5 going to work. My first eggnog of the season. And I'm going to get to another issue in a second. But somehow, some way, some politicians, some people that make the laws in this country have to stand up and have to say, enough is enough. If you damage it, you're going to pay for it. But I'll tell you another dirty little secret that nobody wants to talk about. And the State Patrol has been fighting this battle for years, and it's really coming to fruition. I don't know if you saw the video on TV, on the news of that tragic accident down in Southern California, where the big rig, this guy was driving his truck, and he never ever hit the brakes, killed 3 people, 2:00 in the afternoon on, what was it, I-10, almost by the intersection of I-15. Horrible accident. And the dash cam is in there, and it's I mean, these guys have dash cams in there, and they're not even worried about it. So this guy goes barreling through, never hits the brake. Hits this group of vehicles that are stopped, traffic is stopped, destroys them. There's metal and wood and everything flying all over the place. And this 21-year-old guy who's in the country illegally from India has now killed 3 people, injured several others, driving a big rig. And this is the second time in a couple of months that this has happened. Maybe you remember me talking a couple of months ago about the guys in Florida that were driving a big rig and decided to make a U-turn on the Florida Turnpike. And when they made that U-turn, a minivan was going along the turnpike, slid under it, and I don't know, 5 people were killed in the minivan. And there's so many things that are a common factor in here. But the one common factor that was in both of these collisions, both of these tragic incidences, both of these stupidities of the road, was that the commercial driver license that was issued to these drivers were issued out of the state of Washington. Were issued out of the state of Washington. Both of them also had a secondary license that was issued out of the state of California. Now, I saw Secretary Duffy from the Federal Department of Transportation talking about a emergency order that he gave that says very simply, if you don't speak English, you don't get a CDL. That's simple. And listen, I'm as accommodating and liberal as the next guy. But if you don't speak English, if you can't read the road signs, you should not be pushing a you know, a, a 56-foot trailer combo down a highway. It's really that simple. If you can't be proficient enough to read the road signs on the road in the United States of America, if you can't pass that test, you shouldn't have a freaking CDL. Both of these guys had CDLs that were issued by the state of Washington. Now, what the hell is going on? How are they getting them? There's supposed to be a rigorous test, a physical, a proficiency test. You're supposed to be able to prove that you're able to read road signs. What did they send somebody else down to take the test? Now, I don't know this for a fact, so it is only a rumor. So take this with a grain of salt, what I'm going to tell you. But it wouldn't be unheard of for somebody that wants to get a CDL to slip a 50 or 100 or 500 or whatever it is to an inspector, to somebody that does the test for those CDLs. It would not be out of the realm of possibility. I don't know that it's happening for a fact, but I'm experienced enough in life to know that this stuff does go on. And that I'm pretty sure that you can buy a CDL. That it wouldn't be that hard. If not here, certainly in California. And I think that we as a public have to demand safer roads, have to demand that our Department of Transportation, our state patrol, our people that are in charge of this kind of stuff find out, investigate, and look at what's going on here. Because it ain't kosher. It's not right. First of all, number one, if Secretary Duffy issued that order, well, first of all, this is what should happen. The first thing that should happen is there should be a freeze put on commercial driver's licenses tonight, today. And we need to examine what is going on, how this is working, what's going on with this system, that people that cannot speak English, and I'm not talking about people that might have a basic understanding of English and can't, maybe doesn't understand listen, there's road signs out there that I don't understand, and I think I speak English all right. It may be with an accent, but it is what it is. I don't understand how somebody who cannot communicate with a law officer when they are pulled over can be allowed to continue on their journey. I don't understand why that truck isn't impounded right away and that company called and another driver sent out that can speak English, that can read road signs, and that can prove proficiency in driving that truck to get that truck to where it's going. I don't understand it. And it's killing people. It is killing people on our roads. Go find that video of that collision in Southern California on Route 10, on I-10. And you tell me that you're not sickened to your stomach by it. Now, I guess the driver, 21 years old, as I said, from India in this country illegally. And again, he's in the country illegally. Now, that's a separate issue. And but just because somebody I mean, how do you give somebody a license? How do you in good conscience as an inspector, as somebody who is supposed to be watching out for the public? That's the reason they have these tests. That's the reason they have these inspectors. That's the reason they have state patrol people. And this is something that the Washington Truckers Association, that the California Truckers Association, that the National Truckers Association, and every truckers association in this country ought to be standing up for. Because that is your family in that car that they hit. That is your family that's driving down I-5 in Snohomish County, and they look to the left, and there's this huge, you know, I don't know, 3,000 ton uh, piece of metal flying down the road, and you don't know if this guy is high. You don't know if this guy that's driving, or woman, understands the road signs. You don't know how many hours they've slept. You don't know what kind of drugs they're on. You don't know. And I know that we have a government shutdown. And I know that, listen, people are going to be upset because I'm talking about, a hot button issue, immigrants. And I believe as much as the next person, immigrants should be able to come to this country and make a living, just like my grandfather did, just like probably your grandfather or great grandfather might have, and have opportunity. But opportunity doesn't mean putting two containers on the back of two pieces of steel at the docks and driving it through downtown Seattle, or driving it onto I-90 or I-5 and causing damage to an overpass, or causing damage to people, or running them over, or not even touching your brake as you go through a stopped traffic. It's time to do something about it. It's time to demand better from our politicians. It's time to demand better from the people that make the rules. And listen, Duffy is right. I agree with him 100%. And I think, and I heard somebody say this when I first heard it. I wasn't sure about it, but as I read up on it, you can't have a governor that says give these people licenses. You have to have a governor that goes down to the testing facilities and says, let's see the test you're giving this guy. Let's see the motions that you're putting this person through. Because my kid is on the road. Your kid is on the road. Our kids are on the road. And there has to be stricter and stronger laws. And we have to get away from this idea here that we don't enforce these laws, that we look the other way, because people, your family, my family, everybody's family, are in danger. And nobody seems to be outraged about it except me. And maybe Reagan Dunn. I'm going to try to get him on the show next week, because I think his bill plays into this. But we can't just go after the motorists. We have to go after the people that are issuing these licenses. We have to find out and improve the process. And we have to stop issuing licenses to people that don't speak English. Unless we change. Now, you could do it another way. You could change all the road signs to whatever the language is that everybody's speaking that are driving trucks. Many of these drivers come from India and Pakistan and those countries. But you got to come up with something that's going to make people feel safer on the road. We're heading into the holiday weekend, or the holiday season, I should say, and there's going to be more trucks on the road than ever, more cars with families in them than ever, because there are a lot of people that don't feel safe about traveling by air because of the government shutdown. And we have to demand better. And it's not a racial thing. It's not a prejudice thing. It's not I'm sure that there are people who are going to stand up and say, well, everybody has to have an opportunity to earn a living. Yes, you have to have an opportunity to earn a living. Go get a freaking hot dog cart. Don't earn your living by driving a big rig around town if you can't speak English. I don't care where you're born. If you can't pass a simple proficiency test in English and intelligence and an IQ, if you can't demonstrate a skill that you can operate that vehicle, then you should not be behind the wheel. It's that simple. And my God, before anybody else gets killed, which I know is an impossibility because I'm sure that we're not hearing half of these accidents. We're not hearing all of these accidents that happen. I mean, listen, I know that the state patrol and I'm sure that the highway patrol in California and the Oregon Highway Patrol, I'm sure that all of these officers are taxed. I'm sure that that it's extremely tough for them to pull somebody over and not be able to communicate with them. But if you pull somebody over, officer, and you can't communicate with somebody, uh, I, they don't speak enough English to communicate with you, then why answer me? Why can't that vehicle be impounded? Why can't it and its load and its driver be taken off the road until they can send somebody down there competent to drive that truck? And if you do that a few times, maybe some of these companies will think twice about sending somebody out on the road that's a danger to the population. I mean, what's the difference between giving somebody a truck like that and giving them a loaded gun and telling them, have fun, go out there and shoot up people? The result is the same. You're cutting down people. The only difference is because you are operating a truck, there is a sense of importance about what you're doing. You have to get the goods to the market. You have to get uh, the toilet paper to Costco. You have to get you know, you have to get the goods to market, or people won't be able to get them. And if you don't do that, the good price of the goods will go up. The price of produce, the price of everything will go up, and certainly we don't we don't need any more prices to go up. But I want to know. I want to know why this is happening, why it's allowed to happen. And I mean, this calls for an investigation that's as important as any investigation. If there is a firm, or there is a company, or there is an inspector, or there is somebody in the state of Washington that's issuing commercial driver's licenses for people who are not qualified to have them, then that person needs to be found, that firm needs to be found, and they need to be brought to justice. And more importantly, we need to know the people that they issued these licenses to so we can go out and find them. I, I just, have we become just that disrespectful of the law that we're willing to sacrifice families, we're willing to sacrifice kids, willing to sacrifice people so we can get the produce to market on time and for a dime less? It's unbelievable. It really just takes me to a place of absolute disgust. Do me a favor this week sometime. Take a minute. Next week is election day. So maybe this will be top of mind awareness for you. Maybe you'll be thinking about this. Maybe you'll see a clip on TV, or you'll look at something. Maybe one of the well-paid, highfalutin transportation reporters on the TV or radio stations will launch an investigative report. And we used to have those. Remember, would go out, and maybe somebody will come to their senses and say that the bigger thing here is that we have competent drivers operating huge vehicles on our road, that we don't that we don't have these problems, that these problems can go away, that these problems can be taken care of, that people, no matter if they're on a Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative or whatever, can say that there are basic common sense things that just that provide a safe environment for us to live in. And one of those common sense things is that people that drive big trucks should be able to be proficient in knowing road signs. They should be able to read. They should be able to handle a vehicle that they are licensed by a state to drive. And that an authority should be able to give them a test at any time to see if that's actually the person that is license to drive that vehicle. Maybe it's no, I don't know. I don't have a commercial driver's license, so I don't know. I had one many years ago. I remember that my New York State inspector's license, because I was a New York State licensed inspector, had a fingerprint on it as well as my picture. And a policeman could take your fingerprint and compare it and look and see if you were actually that person that had taken that test, because there was a scandal many years ago, I believe, in New York State, where they were sending other people to take tests for people, people that knew how to drive big rigs, for taking tests for people that didn't know. But this can't continue. We have to do something about it. And if we find that somebody's been taking bribes, if we find somebody has been taking 50, 100, 200, 500 bucks to give somebody a CDL, then they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. And the law should be fully extended to punish them. We're too crowded of a country for this crap to be going on. We're too crowded of an area for people to drive around without a driver's license or without understanding street signs. So I just hope that that we can get this figured out. That our that our people can stay on top of their politicians, stay on top of their state legislators, stay on top of our federal legislators, and make this a priority, because it is a priority. Because that person driving down, you could be driving down I-5, coming back from an Aqua Sox game or coming back from something, and that big ass big rig that's driving in the lane next to you could be somebody who hasn't slept in a day or so, that hasn't taken a proper rest or a proper break, or even been out. They might have a urinal that they bought in Walmart, and they're pissing in that so they don't have to stop their truck and get out of it, so that they can get their miles, get their load to where it's got to go. It's horrible. And you know what? It won't stop unless we, as a people, put the pressure on the politicians. Won't stop. Won't stop until something is done. If the fear is put into people to say, we got a problem, folks, and it's not the other guy's problem, it's your problem, because you are driving in your car next to that truck on I-5 or on I-90, and it's not just about an overpass that can be replaced with a couple of $1 million. It's about our safety. It's about the cost to our society. It's about following some basic common sense. It's not about ethnic group, and people saying, well, you're an Indian, so you don't get to come, or you're a European, or you're this, or you're that, or you're Asian, you're Chinese, or whatever. You can't read the sign, you don't get a license. I really do. I pray for the people that were killed. I pray for the souls of the people. I pray for this guy, 21 years old. What's his life worth? What's his future? His future's in jail. And chances are, I'm sure we'll find out at some point that that this guy was smuggled into the United States to work as part of some kind of human trafficking deal where they were bringing him in to work and follow, do this, go to this guy, see this guy for your license, hand him this 500 or 200 or 100 or whatever. That's how cheaply we value life. That we give somebody who can't read a road sign a commercial driver's license for a couple of $100. That's what our kids are worth to us. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We shouldn't. We should be ashamed to look in the mirror when we get up in the morning. If that's what we, if that's how we figure it should be. So that's that's something that has been on my mind this week. As far as cars, and I love to come in and paint a rosy picture and tell you, well, this company is doing this and this company is doing that, and here's 10 cars you can buy for under $25,000 that are wonderful to drive, and that electric vehicles are wonderful, and you should drive them because you'll save a lot of money, and you get rebates, and all of the things that we talk about on this show and have talked about in this edition of the show since I started doing it again as an hour-long show back in 2018, I think it was. We were doing it as a feature before that, but since 2018, we've been doing Drive Time as an hour show. We have guests, we have people on that know about cars, we have people that do odd and strange things with cars. And I do it because I love cars. I love. I got to do it as a tribute to my father because he was, he brought me up in the car business, and I know about it, and I just thought it would be. I love doing this. I love driving cars. I love telling people about cars. I love telling people about cars. I love telling people about sports. And I love telling people about music. And I love to fix a problem if there is one. I love to see a problem and be able to say, I can pull this guy together and this guy together and this guy together, and all of us working together can improve all of us, can make us feel better, feel safer, feel like we've done something, that we've helped humanity in some small way, some small little way. So, all right. What else do we have going this morning? Again, I'm having trouble with my computer. I have this wonderful car that I'm driving this week. The Lexus TX550H. This is a plug-in hybrid vehicle that Lexus has come out with. And it is a vehicle that will knock your socks off. Now, I have a little film about this vehicle that I put together, but for whatever reason, I can't get the film into my computer. I don't know what's. I'm going to have to go to the computer shop later, try to figure out. It's the AirDrop is not working on my phone, but I am going to try to send here one one little piece of video here so I can at least show you this what I thought was a pretty incredible. There you go. And I just I just well, give me 1 second to oh, I've been so whacked out. What is this? Yeah, I never like it when I open up a down we want to go to downloads, right? Okay. There we go. Is this it? Yeah. This is the it's incredible Lexus that I am I just really think this is a vehicle that they hit all the right notes with. It's a plug-in hybrid. It's spacious. It's roomy. It's got um an unbelievable array of safety equipment in it. It has captain's chairs in the rear, a third row that is spacious and roomy, and you get back there with one touch of a button, and you're on your way into that back seat. Got some cargo room in the back as well. If you fold all the seats down, which they do electronically, you don't even have to bust your hump to come around this side, that side, do this, do that. You have plenty of cargo room in the back if you're traveling with two other people. The interior materials are made out of this really incredible incredible stuff that Lexus makes. That is, it cools you, it heats you, it relaxes you. I mean, the seats in this car, these are not massaging seats. These are just regular seats. But whatever they build the seats out of, whatever the ergonomic people that they have at Lexus that sit in these seats and say, how can we build a better seat? They have hit the mark. You sit in these seats and you feel like you're getting every dime worth of comfort out of this vehicle. As far as driving dynamics, looking at the lines on this thing are gorgeous. You can see that. It has a CVT, which I'm not particularly crazy about, but I think in this particular vehicle, it doesn't make that much of a difference. You're not using this as a performance vehicle. You're using this as a means to get in style from one place to another. And so you have things on this vehicle that are built for comfort and safety, as opposed to how fast can I get from point A to point B. Can I get out of snow? Do I feel comfortable and competent on rain? And when the highways are wet, is this vehicle going to do something to help me control the hydroplaning that happens on highways in this type of weather that we're having? I would hazard a guess that you're not even going to be that worried about your your gas mileage. I mean, it gets 29 miles per gallon. On electricity and gasoline, it gets 76 mpge. I think the range, and I haven't checked it out myself, and I like to do that on electrics, on hybrids. Um, but I think it has a close to 40-mile electric only range, which for most people, many people, is going to be a pretty good sized range that will keep you from having to use gasoline a lot on your local trips around town. Inside, you got multi-zone climate control. You got a beautiful, Lexus. This is going to sound weird, but Lexus does really nice steering wheels. There's a certain feel that Lexus has figured out with their ergonomic engineers about steering wheels. And you think about it, it's your point of contact with the car. And when you can build a steering wheel that's going to make you feel comfortable holding on to that wheel for a number of hours that you're driving, that's something to be said for that. You have sunshades in the back, you have a wireless phone, all the stuff that you would expect in a luxury edition. You have blind spot mirrors. You have digital latches. You have parking assist with auto braking. And you have something called the Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0. And the Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0 is a suite of safety features that will correct many of the mistakes that people make while driving. They are accident avoidance materials. They are a device that breaks the car if you are driving back out of your driveway and somebody comes across, rear cross traffic alert. Doesn't just alert you, it stops the car. It has hill hold, so if you're parked on a hill, you press the button, you press the brake thing, and it holds the car there. You have all of the different things that you would expect in a car, in a Lexus, but in an upper end Lexus. Heated and ventilated second row captain's chairs also could fall into the luxury category. You just get a lot in this thing. Again, going back to the safety aspect of this car, you are driving something that is, the Lexus safety systems have proven to be, the Toyota safety systems have proven to be one of the best safety systems available on the market today. The blind spot monitor, the cross traffic alert, the ability to keep a car in a lane, which they use LiDAR and different electronic devices to do, to keep the car in your lane, to alert you when you're tired and you need to pull over. And the simple way that stuff takes over when you aren't doing your job as a driver. Let's face it, it happens to us all. You're not the first one it's ever going to happen to, and you're not going to be the last. And all of these different implements these days and elements that allow you to be as safe as you could at any time in the last 100 years. Anytime in the last 100 years, this car is as safe as it gets. Other options that are in this car, they got a convenience package. They got carpeted cargo mats and puddle lamps and wheel locks and cargo lamps and crossbars and a bunch of different stuff. But the package that I'm most impressed with is their safety suite. And it's front cross traffic alert, traffic jam assist. The car actually takes over for you in a traffic jam. And it does some of the things that you probably should be doing. But because you're on your phone and you're doing this and you're doing that, you're not paying attention to. And let me tell you something, if it saves you from being, from hitting somebody in the rear, if it saves you one time from piling into somebody so that you don't have to live with the guilt of having an accident for the rest of your life. If you say to yourself, I made a smart decision. I bought this car because it had not only these luxury items that are on this side of the ticket, but it had these safety items that are on that side of the ticket. And I made an investment not just in my car, but in my family's safety. Nothing to be ashamed of about that. Nothing at all. So, like I said, I haven't had a chance to drive this thing really on the highway. I'm going to take it up to the Joe today and give it a ride and see exactly what this thing can do. Panoramic rear view monitor, advanced park with remote park and digital rear view mirror and heads up display. It's got everything, baby. And it's a Lexus, and that we've talked about this. Toyota and a Lexus. What did we have last week? The list of cars that were expected to get over 300,000 miles, wasn't it? And how many cars on that list were Toyotas or Lexus? It's embarrassing to say that if you want a car that's going to give you your money's worth, if you want a car that you're going to feel is going to be a car that you can be you're making you're not just buying a car, you're making an investment. You're saying, I'm going to have this car for many years. And when I have this car, I'm going to then give it to my kid. And she's going to have this car. Or he's going to have this car. This is not just going to be a car. It's going to be like a family heirloom that you'll watch your grandson drive off to high school in 20 years from now, 25 years from now, whatever it is. I don't know how you're pumping out kids in your family. We're a little slow in ours, actually. So anyway, what's the ticket for this car? $86,063 for this particular model. Again, it's a plug-in hybrid. And, Lexus is pretty much the acknowledged leader in hybrids. They have since they put their hybrid shingle out. Back in, 1996, 97 with the Prius. So they have experience. They know how to build good hybrid vehicles. Vehicles that last, vehicles that give you a bang for your buck, vehicles that are comfortable. So we'll give you a full review, but that's what I'm driving this week. The TX 550H all-wheel drive. And by the way, one more thing, might I say, in this particular vehicle, I love the color. It's Matador Red Mica, I guess is the color here. And the lines on this car, it's a stunning car. Just don't think you'll see. I mean, you'll see other cars like this. Obviously this color is a popular color, but it's a car that if I'm buying a new car today, I want all the safety equipment in the car that I can get. All the safety equipment that I can afford. I mean, I don't know if it'll save you from a tragedy like the one we've just seen, we've just talked about down in Southern California. But if I can get it, I want it. Some of these cars in this particular line have four-wheel steering. I mean, you're trying to steer into a tight spot, and the rear wheels turn along with the front wheels to get you into that spot better. But a stunning car. And again, I'm hard pressed to say anything bad about Lexus. It's a solid vehicle, and I'll tell you more about it when we do the full report in a week or two. We'll get you the full report. Seattle Judy has joined us this morning, and she's been listening to the show, a regular listener. Somebody wrote me a while ago and said that she listens to the show all the time. She's been listening to Drivetime for a number of years as well. And Judy, I thank you, number one, for listening to the show. I thank you for putting up with me for an hour. And I thank you for, agreeing with me about the loss of these people and this insane situation that we've gotten ourselves in the state of Washington. We don't want the reputation of being the state that puts these people out on the road. And Governor Ferguson, I really hope that, and I would be happy to help you, to assist you in any way possible to help figure out what the heck is going on and get these people off the road and punished for participating in a scandal or an apparent scandal that could hurt people, and a lot of people. And a lot of people that, again, I was reading about this one couple that was killed in this accident in Southern California. A basketball coach and his wife, people that have worked at the school that they worked at for years. Everybody in the community knew them. Everybody in the community loved these people. Loved them. You always hear the bad stories about people. But there's two people that invested their lives in trying to give kids, trying to give youth an even break. Trying to make people, their lives better. Even if they don't have a positive influence in their life, they take it upon themselves to be the positive influence in somebody's life, to be somebody that they can look up to. We don't have enough of those kind of people in this world. We've got to find some more. And now you have two of them that have been taken away from us. Sad. Absolutely sad. All right. That's going to put this edition of Drive Time in the books. I really appreciate you indulging me this morning, my rant, and trying to solve the problems that we are presented with, that we are as a community, even though we may not agree on uh, politics per se, that we still agree that we need to have certain standards in the community, and part of those standards are that you have to there's certain laws that you have to adhere to. There's certain things that you have to do in being part of a community to avoid the problems that you're going to encounter, to not make the system work harder. It's hard enough that you don't have to I don't know, you just don't have to make it harder than it has to be. There's no percentages to be gained in making their lot in life harder, in making people afraid to drive down a highway that's supposed to be part of the greatest highway system in the world. That's Drive Time for this week. I'm New York Vinnie. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. I also want to remind you that this show has been brought to you by my good friend, George Jackson. George Jackson Promotions. And I know it's getting to be that time of year where you start to order Christmas gifts, tchotchkes, things for people, whether they be patches, whether they be jackets, whether they be, whatever it is, shirts, pens, folders, whatever it is. George can handle that for you. He can get it to you on time. He can get it to you on schedule, and he can get it to you for the price that he quoted you, or he'll give you a damn good reason why he couldn't do that. But I haven't had anybody call me up that's used George for anything and say to me, Vinny, you steered me wrong. As a matter of fact, I got people that have done business with George and said to me, Vinny, where'd you find this guy? How did you find this guy? So if you're thinking of the different kinds of promotional gifts, if you're thinking about the calendars for your business next year, if you're thinking about giving people something to create top of mind awareness for your business, please call my friend George Jackson. Please contact him at www.gjpromo.com. Tell him I sent you. And tell him that you heard about it right off of this show. And I guarantee, I promise you that you'll be happy with your dealings with George. One thing about George is, like I said, I know him for a number of years. This isn't just somebody that I'm telling you about because he said to me, "Hey, I'll give you a few bucks." This is a guy that I believe in, and a guy that I believe will, if you give him your business, will take care of you, will give you service, will make you a happy customer. And I mean, where have we heard the word service? It's almost non-existent in our society today. But George is old school. He believes in that kind of stuff. And he fulfills it. So if you need those advertising specialties, if your boss is thinking, hey, Sally, where can we get stickers that we can give people to put on our cars, whatever you do with them, call George, gjpromo.com. Reach out to him, get a call back from him. I'm sure that he will be able to help you out. Or if he can't help you out, he'll be able to point you in the right direction of somebody that can. He's a great advertiser on this show and a great guy. And I think you'll be happy that you'll call me and thank me for having you do business with my friend George. All right? All right. That's it. That's all. Into the books we go. See you next week. If the Lord's will and the creek don't rise. Don't forget, Monday morning at 10:10 for Mikey and Vinnie. I'm sure that we'll have something to talk about. And hey, go Blue Jays. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. All right, I'm not going to sing the whole thing for you. I'll spare you that. Have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye now.